back to your favorite channel. It's your boy Pelican Bay K9s at the PBC, giving it to you where I always do, man. We fair and biased, raw and uncut. We got some good dog talk today for my brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, big salute and shout out to everybody that's taking care of them pets across the world. Got some great dog talk and an interview with the brother Cisco. We're gonna talk about some of them old school dogs, the way y'all brothers and sisters like to hear it. So y'all hit that like button up, man. Y'all get down in that chat. Y'all listen to this like I always say. If you're riding in your car, riding out, riding in your truck, riding out, riding in your 18-wheeler, throw it on, man. It's your boy. We about to get into it. How you doing today, my brother Cisco?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I can't complain, man. Can't complain. Different day. Like I always say, different day, man. We gonna jump straight off in it like we always do when we're talking about these dogs, man. And I always ask people, man, how did your dog career start off? Not necessarily saying, uh, trying to say, how was you in rank or anything like that, but just what drew your interest to the dogs?
Well, my first introduction was one. I was about 8 years old, and my father walked in with a little black pit bull. He was black and he had white on the chest, and like half his ear was missing, scars on his head, and he was. You ever see a pit bull like they call it smiling, where it kind of like if you don't know, it looked like they snarling at you, where
Yeah,
they raise their lips.
yeah, yeah.
He was doing that, but he was wagging his tail, and it bugged me out. But I'm a little kid and anything. So anyway, the dog, I liked the fuck out the dog. He was cool, and that was my first introduction to like actually having hands on a pit bull. And then one day though, a neighbor had her door open, and I'm a kid, so I guess like I'm not really. And see, I was I grew up in Brooklyn, so like where I was at, I didn't grow up in a house. It was, I don't know if like people who ain't from one of the boroughs might be hard to explain about how like with the apartments they kind of close to each other.
Yeah.
So like if a door open, anyway, the neighbor had a dog, and when I went to walk out the apartment with the dog, she had a cat, and he shot it in and just started ragging the cat out. She started freaking out over that,
Dang.
and then and I guess my father didn't want like the problems and all, like as far as he didn't want to risk like getting, because he was doing other stuff that he didn't want more attention being drawn to him.
Yeah.
So they wound up getting rid of the dog. And as a little kid, that's gonna fuck with you a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
then about some years, I say about 2 years went by, and there was a pet store, right? And but I was a little kid, so I didn't really have the money or the knowledge to really jump in it. But there was a
Yeah.
pet store, and on the window it said GRCH pups. And I was like, man, what is I'm thinking to myself, what does that mean? And the guy like whose store was and selling the pups, he was kind of a dick, but I guess maybe it was luck or fate. There was another guy in there, and he was, even though I was a kid, the other man that was in there, I guess he was friends with him. He was real cool with me and explaining to me and stuff. And you remember the very first Stratton book, the real small one with a little kid with the white and brown female on there?
Yep. Yep. I had that book.
Yeah, so he was like, you need to read this. And I was like, shit, I ain't got no money. And he said, man, you read this book, right? So that's how I started learning, like, seeing names, like,
Yeah.
and then so a couple years passed, the same store, I guess I was about 12, and my uncle had gave me the money to buy a puppy from that same guy, because I didn't know, to me, that guy was, at that time, being that you don't know, to me, that guy was Crenshaw, or who,
Yeah.
or whatever big name that somebody feels is like a great dog man.
Yeah.
And so I bought a puppy from him, and that was my first dog. Like I raised him up, whatever. But like at that time, it was a different time, and Back in
Mhm.
them days in the city, like there was so much shit going on. Police didn't give a fuck. You know, I'm talking about like, the crack era and all that. So if you had a pit bull, it was like it was the same thing like living in them kind of neighborhoods. Like you you gonna get down whether you want to or not.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's kind of how it got introduced to like the aspect of the battle side of it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Now, I heard you say, the brother Mike Wilder, was credited the mentoring you sometime throughout your younger days. How did y'all brothers meet?
Um, so there was these guys, and they was around my neighborhood, and they had this dog. Like before that dog, they had other dog. They had this one dog, and this dog was everything that a dog man would want as far as looks, pedigree, performance. Even the one time he was bred, everything that you would want in a dog.
Yeah,
This was that dog, like and like so they was getting out, and they didn't want nobody to get that dog, and they were ready to put him down.
mm,
And my man, I got he he's still I say like my brother. He not my brother by relate, by blood, but he's not a dog man, but he's my man. And he he a street dude, so his word will, like when he say something, they'll listen,
yeah,
but not because of the dogs. And they was trying to put Merc down, but when he got wind of it, he had called me and said, "Man, you need to get down here right now." And they family had a restaurant. They at the restaurant. It wasn't that far, so I walked about 10-minute walk. When I got there, my man, I don't even know how, because like I said, he ain't no dog, man. So I don't know where the fuck he got a leash from. He handed me the leash and said, "Go get Merc." I'm like, "Man, what you talking about?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just gave them a deposit, man. They said they'll, what they're gonna do is hold the paperwork until they get the rest. But for now, this has stopped them from putting them down."
yeah,
Like somebody offered them big money for Merc, and they drew down on the dude. They took it as an insult. Like they were really ready to put the motherfucker down. So before I got him, they said to me, "There's only one condition." There was a guy that was real cool with them that had a female around the same time that they bred Merc.
yeah,
And they told me they don't want that motherfucker to have nothing to do. Like, do not let him breed to Merc, whatever. And in my mind, like, that ain't my man. Like, fuck that dude. Cool.
yeah,
And I honored it. The sad thing is that Merc didn't live that long. I wound up taking him to two different vets. I couldn't say he got cancer of the kidneys. And I remember them telling me, where they went, whatever, and Mike had a ad in the journal. The only thing I regret is not calling him before Merc died. But when Merc died, I called Mike and I said to him, telling him about Merc and stuff, and I said, "Man, I want the same thing." He said,
mm,
"Oh, I suppose you want me to walk on water as well." Well, that's going to be extra hard for me, being that I'm in a wheelchair.
yeah, yeah.
And that was my first introduction to, in my opinion, one of the greatest dogmen of modern times. And
Now,
what's not an opinion, anybody that's ever known Mike would agree that he was a great guy. Aside from being
mm-hmm,
a great dog man, he was a great man, and he come
yeah,
from the old school of where your word really meant something.
yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
I, like I had visited with Kobe in the '90s. I had got it actually. Kobe sent me to Ozzie Stevens. Like these are real old timers.
Yeah,
And one thing that them and Mike Wilder had in common was their word. Like they come from a time where a man and his word, you say something, that's what it is.
yeah, yeah. Now,
And
now when it come to Mike, I see he a big Red Boy fan, and from what you telling me, he kind of sided with the Hunter Red stuff. Um, and,
he
and
like he like anything coming down from Peaches. He like
Okay,
uh
okay,
the crosses. He liked to cross G. He liked heavy red boy with a little Jeep and a little rascal.
okay.
That was his forte.
Yeah. I see a
He had
lot of the
he had a
dogs.
lot of,
I see a lot of the dogs you sent me was bred like that Jeep Red Boy Rascal. And these dogs coming
correct. Yeah,
directly off Jeep and directly off
yeah,
Red Boy daughters or sons, and then you see Rascal Jr. and Rascal in the first 4 generations. You know?
yeah. He liked rascal a lot, but his Peaches was his dog Indy. He had a stud dog named Indy that he really believed in,
Yeah.
and for good reason. There was a dog named Turbo that had well, down in Mexico, somebody had they had one hooked and it didn't something had happened and they only had like 3 weeks left and they borrowed Turbo off of and all they had was 3 weeks left and Turbo went down there and did the damn thing.
Dang. That was his first time out?
Yeah. And Mike's had dogs in other countries, like all over, man. Like to this, well, I'm not gonna say to this day exactly, but we'll say 40 years later of with Mike with a certain individual, but I'm not gonna say his name, not because he don't deserve recognition, but for obvious reasons. We'll
Yeah.
leave his name out of it. That this person had purchased a dog from Mike as a young dog, and it turned out with a dog became a champion, but not just that's something to be proud of in itself. But this particular dog won at 3 different weights in 3 different states,
Yeah.
and that's Mike's blood 40 years later, and Mike giving his advice. Like not just all right, I got your money and I'll never answer the phone again. Like walk you through it. Anything, any kind of help you need,
Hmm.
yeah, call me anytime, like that. That was the kind of guy Mike was. If he could help, he'll be more than happy to.
Yeah. So he felt like that Red Boy or that Jeep. Which one he felt like he needed a little more stronger in, the Jeep or the Red Boy?
I feel the red boy. He loved peaches, man. And like there was a one time he that same dog, Mert, the one I told you about with that I when I made me call him. He
You talking
had
about, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. You talking about Adamans, aka Merc?
yeah, Adamman. Sorry, not champion Mert, Adamman.
Okay.
Um he had a he had a Adamman had a half brother and we had a son off the half brother. And I traveled up that way where Mike was, and these guys came from the Virgin Islands.
Mm.
Supposedly it was a 2-time killer. Now Mike is saying, like, he's yelling at me, fuck we waiting on. I'm like, chill, Mike, like, what I'm saying? We gotta weigh
Yeah.
him. He's like, whoa, man, fuck that scale. That's a Frisco Sorrells cross. And I'm like, yo, Mike, that's a 2-time killer. And I'm like, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Ain't no way a Frisco Sorrells cross gonna beat some of my bread.
Yeah.
And then afterward, it took 35 minutes. And then I was like, damn, man, Batman, the truth. And he's like, it ain't Batman, Cisco, it's Peaches. It's that Peaches.
So what, it was a Batman Peaches cross?
It was well, Batman was actually a son of Peaches.
Okay.
Batman was tagged to Peaches. But let
Okay.
me say this real quick for
Yeah.
your listeners. Like, I'm not saying that story. It's not to clown on Frisco and Sorrells. I'm sure there's plenty of good Sorrells and Frisco dogs.
Oh
I'm
yeah. Oh
just
yeah.
saying you can be confident in his stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't trying to offend nobody, or you know what I mean. There's good dogs in every bloodline.
Oh yeah. Every dog man gonna feel like he can take this or take that. He might feel the same way about a Red Boy Jocko dog, and oh, ain't no Red Boy Jocko dog gonna take me. And then if you was there with the dog brothers, they said what they said. They said
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they
yeah,
said.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
Oh
sometimes
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
just want to add that nobody, think I'm, that's
Hmm.
just he was very confident in his breeding program, which he had good reason to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, tell me a little bit about that champion Tommy dog.
That was actually that wasn't so much peaches though. That was actually some Patrick stuff over some
Mm,
Jeep stuff.
okay.
And good game dog. Actually, Mike, even from a wheelchair, Mike did one of those keeps. Of course, he couldn't handle them, but
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did one of those keeps. He liked Tommy a lot because he was able to handle him. Like Tommy was a very smart dog, so Mike could like put him in the car and he could throw a ball into the lake and Tommy would jump into the lake and swim and and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though Mike was in a wheelchair, he did everything. Like he had his own yard. Like he one time he had as many as 40 dogs. Like even
Mm,
though he was in a wheelchair, that didn't stop him from nothing. I mean, he lifted weights, he drove, he built treadmills, swivels, like every, you know what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm.
that's another thing too, is like that for me, it's like he was never bitter. He's always in good spirits, which that's a lot to say too, because he wasn't born that way. When he was 18 years old, he was in Myrtle Beach and a railing gave way and he fell.
Mm,
And that's how he became paralyzed.
dang, dang.
So, to live like that, but not, like it's fucked up to be born that way. But if you know what it's like to have use
Yeah,
of your
yeah,
leg and then you lose it, and he was always in good spirits.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
Always.
so, did was he like I heard you say he was part of Kamikaze Kennel.
Yeah,
Was it a
yeah.
time like when he was
Mike
with a part?
Gregory.
Was it a time when he was with a partner, and then there was a time when he just had a solo yard, or how did that come apart?
Well, when he was kamikaze, he did have a partner, Mike Gregory, the Tennessean. He
Okay,
died, and once he died, it
okay,
became
okay,
went to rock bottom. But yeah, when they were kamikaze, man, they were rocking and rolling, man.
okay. So
I'm sure you heard.
Rock Bottom is still Mike Wilder as well.
Yeah, well, he took that name
Okay,
after Mike Gregory, and then went their separate ways. But they
okay,
didn't go their separate ways over no fallout. It's just.
yeah, yeah, gotcha.
But I'm sure you heard it. I'm sure you heard of those dogs, Honey, Shotzi,
Mm-hmm.
Hugo,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and they was rocking and rolling, man. They really was. Kamikaze was really up there. They went into I want to say it was Shotzi that beat Coy.
Mm.
I
Would
know they called out BB Red, but that never material. I don't know for what. I ain't talking shit about them. I'm just saying that
yeah.
for whatever reason, they didn't bring BB Red, but they wanted BB. Mike Gregory and Mike Wilder was you know
Yeah,
open to anything.
yeah. Um, no. How about that Missy though?
That's the same. Yeah, that's Weirdo to Ronnie. Abe, that's Abe to Missy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, that's Weirdo to. Yeah, she was a real good producer. That's Recon Ranger's mother.
Mm.
Abe Recon was off of Abe to Missy, and Missy was Weirdo to Ronnie. And Recon produced that dog that went to the Grand Champion Luger. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Ruger?
Yeah.
Yeah, Recon produced him. And there's a lot of dogs that because of Mike, uh the success that the kennel that I went by, all or nothing, the success we had. We had a lot of good dogs, man. Champion Merc, Champion Buck Wild, Champion Fiasco, Champion Twix, Champion Body, Champion Boogie, uh trying to a lot of 1 and 2 time, like like too many to name, like 1 and 2 timers, like real like nice fucking dogs. And
Yeah.
Even to this day, that champion Merc, he got grandkids that's champions. I think that say a lot for a line to carry to carry
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
But I
That
think
champion Merc dog looked real good. He looked real
he
good.
was he was a good dog, man. He was a real good dog. A lot of that I kind of uh I don't want to say his name, not because he don't deserve it,
Yeah.
but I had a partner when I was active, and he believed in, like, I believed in Merc, but my partner believed in Merc more than I did. Like, there would be certain things, and I like, I don't know, and he believed in Merc. He always believed in Merc. So shout out to him. He know who he is, but I ain't gonna say his name.
Now, I seen in one of the pictures you showed me, um, there was a guy from Australia way back in the days. He had some good dogs too.
That's who Mike actually got his dogs from. See, that guy had visited with Katie Marlowe, James Garrett. He visited with all like the big name American kennels,
Yeah.
and Mike, he had sent Mike Indy, which was double peaches. Batman was tagged to peaches, and he sent him Stomper, which was bear to peaches. Bear was Jeep to a daughter of Rascal.
Mm.
He sent them 3 stud dogs, and Mike was pretty much built his yard around those 3 dogs.
Yeah. I see he in that
They did.
picture holding Jeep.
Yeah, and that's funny. Like, you see how you talk about Jeep. See, like, all right, so I was going back and forth a second. Like, when I had visited with Lou Colby, right,
Hmm.
which was another great experience. That really, really good guy, and visiting with him was like going in a museum.
Mm.
Like, what a great time. I wanted to get a skip the process. You know how it is when you're young. Like,
Yeah.
you're showing patience. I wanted to get something grown,
Yeah.
and he told me anything he sent to his son in Texas, as far as if it looked promising.
Mm.
But he recommended me to go to Ozzie Stevens, the one that had Homer, the one that lost the Jeep.
Yep.
And I had went to Ozzie, and I bought a grown dog from Ozzie. And I remember Ozzie telling me that the bitch that I was picking up, he was telling me if she get to her spot, that's it. 10 minutes, it's over.
What
10 minutes or less.
was she off
And I
Homer?
said, oh, so long ago. Man, I don't know if you remember. I believe it was Eli Jr. on top, and you remember a dog, I want to say a dog named Sealer.
Mm. No.
It was heavy Eli Jr., and then the bottom side was I think Boyles, that Paz, Black Paz, remember
Okay.
him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when he telling me that, though, I asked him, like, what happens if she don't get to her spot? And then he told me, well, that's why we call it gambling.
Yeah. Yep.
But then he was telling me that, see, his side of the story of Jeep and Homer, I listened to it, but what made me believe a lot of what he was saying is that when I hear it from other people.
Yeah.
But like, his side of the story was Homer wasn't at the right weight. He should have never been brought down that low. And the story is like, well, Ozzy's side of it is that the guy that was handling Homer was a green Homer. And when Crenshaw let Jeep go, they yelling at him like, turn him loose. And Ozzy's side of the story is he throws Homer on the ground.
Yeah.
Now, the story that I hear from people that were there is not exactly the same, but it's not that different. Their story is that the dude is in there, but he looking away. He looking at the crowd holding Homer. As soon as Crenshaw step over, he turns Jeep loose, and they're yelling at him like, "Hey, turn!" But by then, uh, Jeep nails Homer in the corner in the shoulder, and
Yeah. Dang.
they put him at a disadvantage.
Dang.
Whether you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah. Ain't no
and
telling, man.
that picture, in that picture, you see Jeep's lip. Ozzy was telling me that he caught gangrene, and they had to cut his lips off, which there might be some truth to it if you seen that picture. it looked like his half of his lip is gone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a red boy Jocko dog like that back in the mid '90s, where his lip got infected from a show, and I ended up having to cut piece of it off just like that. I took a razor blade and just cut it off, and it was to the point where it had that little area like how Jeep's on is, where he can have his mouth closed and you can still see his teeth.
Yeah,
Look like he's smiling, but he ain't even doing nothing. Just
yeah.
kind of got a little,
Can't keep,
that little lip on the corner gone.
you can't keep no shit like that in these modern times.
Nope. Nope. But it wasn't the way mine was, it wasn't bad. And I believe even with Jeep, I believe you really that's not the the dogs that they taking off the yards as far as disfigured looking. Jeep, maybe when it first happened, it maybe have been ugly, but in the pictures, it kind of you can work with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it just, you can see he got a little part missing, but it's nothing big enough to actually say, oh, what happened to that dog or something. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know,
different
man.
pictures, different
They
pictures
pretty
look,
extreme
yeah,
nowadays.
different pictures look different ways, and like you said, nowadays it's a whole different time because folks start looking at what's wrong with them, what's wrong with them or something. So
Yeah,
you're right about that
I mean
nowadays time.
they care more about dogs than they do people.
Hmm. And that's a
Look at that
hundred
man that
percent
got
show.
let him 400 something years. I mean, even a pedophile don't get that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Come
Eh,
on.
Man, everybody say that, man. You got people who mess with kids, pedophiles, rapists that just straight up taking women out there. You got people that
Yeah,
do horrible stuff and they don't get nowhere near that time, man. Nowhere near that time. That's just crazy, man.
yeah,
That's insane, man.
it is ridiculous.
You know, um, now that champion buddy dog, you say he won in multiple states. No, tell me a little bit about him.
Champion body.
Champion body, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I bred. So it was Mike had a dog named Mac. He was pretty. It was like heavy indie over rascal, just like the gist of it. And
Yeah,
then Mac was bred to a wonderful bitch, and then that bitch was bred to Merc. And I gave Mike a daughter of them two, and he bred it to his dog named Edward G, which is Mike's same, pretty much the Jeep Red Boy coming through Indy,
okay.
just line blood on Indy. And that produced that dog named Body. And really good dog, man. That motherfucker there. I mean, what else can I say? Record speak for itself.
Yeah.
You win at three different races and you go three different states.
Was he a big dog or kind of small dog or what?
The big dog. He went at I want to say he went at 49, 50, and 51.
Mm. Yeah, he was a good size then.
Yeah, Merck went at 47, 48, and 47. I like him more at 47
Yeah.
than he did 48. But yeah, man, a lot of good dogs, that in my opinion, a lot of it too though is what you do with it. Like I think you could get a good dog from any line, but it's also, you just gotta be selective,
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't pour syrup on shit and get pancakes, you know what I mean? And
You're
it
right
takes
about
two,
that.
like we was very selective with the females, whatever, not necessarily saying they gotta be a world beater, but they should be game. They should, or whatever it is that you want the dog to do, both parents should possess those traits. Like don't go strictly off of pedigree.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that Twisted Sister dog produced amazing for all or nothing. Like that bitch was well, some people say Cottingham and Red Boy the same, but she was the Cottingham on top and Red Boy on the bottom. But to me, it's the Red Boy dog. But anyway, you slice it, like every time we bred that bitch, we got show quality dogs
Yeah.
every time,
Man.
and high percentage too.
Now,
But
oh, go
I
ahead.
wouldn't say that she was show quality, but she was game. And you know what I mean? I think that plays, and I think too, like as far as like if you start like relationships too play a part.
Yeah.
Cause like you say like Tom Garner, just as an example, not knocking Tom Garner or anybody that deal with Tom Garner. Don't I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah.
Like if If I just call him up and be like, hey Tom, what's up? Man, I want to get a puppy. I'm not saying he won't give me a good puppy, but if someone like been dealing with him for years and he know like by this person having that dog is gonna help him because they're gonna do the right thing or whatever have you, he's gonna you have a better shot. Like you gonna make sure you got the best of what he got.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Not
right.
saying he would give you something bad on purpose, but you have a better shot. Like as if same thing, even
That's
with
with
Mike,
any breeder you dealing with,
right,
whoever they dealing with the most got a better chance of getting, like you said, the
right,
whatever
right.
whatever the special privileges.
You know how you talk about yellow a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was a dog man in New York. Now anybody from New York from the 80s into the 90s, ain't no way you never heard of Dirty Steve. Now I understand people down south, maybe not, but in New York, Dirty Steve was a legend, and he was crossing like yellow over tab,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of good dogs, man. He had a 7-time winner, grand champion Cody.
Man, there been a lot of people have a lot of success with that Red Boy Jocko, Red Boy Cross. You can't really call that that Red Boy Jeep Cross. You can't really call it a cross when you bring a Red Boy back into Red Boy Jocko because it's just strengthening up the Red Boy side. You know what I'm saying? But when you add that Jeep into that whole program, they make some great dogs, man. And just over the period, over those years, it just proved it that Red Boy Jeep Cross. And if some brothers added the Rascal and some brothers added other things, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much that Red Boy Jeep and then, your Jocko, I seen some amazing dogs come off that stuff. And I'm not just talking about, the ones I had. I seen other brothers with some good Red Boy Jocko Jeep stuff.
Well, Dirty Steve, another one that bred his own stuff, raised his own stuff, conditioned his own stuff. He had a dog named Champion Big Boy. That
Mm,
dog made champion by the time he was 2 years old. And on number 4, one of his buddies had to pay forfeit and they asked to use Big Boy. And I
mm.
told Steve it was a mistake because Big Boy ain't had shit on him. I'm talking about no kind of work, fat. But Steve was the type, he didn't give a fuck. Like if you talk shit to Steve, like all you gotta do is tell Steve you got one that can whoop his dog and let's go. Like it don't matter if you got a pack of Newport, couple thousand, whatever. Like Steve ready to go. So he took Big Boy, no conditioning, into a fully conditioned dog. Upon release, Big Boy hit the other dog so hard he broke his own jaw.
Damn.
And it went 2 hours and Big Boy couldn't go no more. And Steve was put him down anyway. I wouldn't have, me myself. I don't think Big Boy had a fair chance, but Steve put him down
Damn.
because he.
Yeah.
But Steve was a dog man, though, man. And he wasn't called Dirty Steve because of him doing people dirty. He got the name Dirty because he won a show like wearing some coveralls and
Hmm.
people started saying like, when you gonna wash that nasty shit? He said he felt like if he wash it, he washing the luck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he never washed it. Like, you a dirty motherfucker. That's how you got started calling Dirty Steve. Like actually, he was a big hearted. He was a good guy. He would talk mad shit, bro. Like I mean,
Damn.
insane. Like, but it was just his competitive spirit. He really didn't. It was nothing past the dogs, but he had a good heart, man. Matter of fact, somebody had bought a dog from him, a match dog, and it got stolen. And then that ain't on Steve, but Steve was willing to replace it for them because
Damn.
he just because he felt bad about it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
just to say what type of person he was.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hey,
You know what I mean?
that's what you hope you bumping into them kind of dog men throughout your days. You know? Now
Yes.
now
Steve was a different type. Mike and Steve weren't the same type as far as because Mike, Mike might talk a little shit, whatever, but man, Steve had a mouth on him, boy. But if you know him,
yeah.
like it's cool. He still took his losses like a gentleman, but he would just, like if you hooked into him, he gonna be harassing you, calling you 2 in the morning, and like, hey, wake up, it's me, Steve, giving you nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was a good dude overall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, you said, and I want to get to this because I know it's got to be some interesting story. When you went there, when you visited Mr. Kobe, what was he talking about, and how did he feel about the dog game at that state right at that moment when you talked to him?
When I spoke to him, he was already up in his 80s,
Yeah.
and he's saying pretty much the same stuff that you be saying on your other shows, like stop, because it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
It definitely ain't like it was, back, like when he was doing it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And aside from it being like becoming illegal, like the internet is what killed it, what really, what I'm saying, did not help at all. And then got people like on Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
like looking, putting a startup dog. Look at this dog went, 120 or whatever. That's
Yeah.
dumb as fuck, man. Because why would you advertise illegal activity?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people was able to. The worst thing that happened to the breed is when people found out about it. Like if you knew about dogs and you in that circle, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once it got into the public, it was over, man. In
Mm-hmm.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Because at one time there wa- it was a there were once was a time where you could it was working class people. It wasn't no I mean, it's always gonna be good and bad regardless of the times, the people, but for the most part, it was something where it was working class people, and it was a gentleman thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that started shifting.
Now, when it comes to road work and treadmill and steroids, what's your play on that, and what's your opinion on that? Far as the route you would have went in your days,
Well, to me, the most important thing is a healthy dog. I mean, if a
Yeah.
dog ain't healthy, nothing else matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's the absolute number one, no matter what competition you're doing, whether it's weight pulling, wall climbing, hog, the dog got to be healthy.
Yeah.
If it's not 100% health, nothing else matters.
Yep.
I learned the littlest things too, like a chipped toenail, that'll bring the blood count down. So like you just really gotta, put like make sure that the dog is healthy and be committed. If you ain't ready to commit, because anybody that's ever worked the dog, and I'm not even saying like as far as like combat, it could be training, it could be
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at, especially if you got a job, you're doing 8, 9 hours with the dog, aside from and I think bonding with a dog helps too.
Yep.
There was a guy back in the day. I I don't like you. Some people call them street dogs. Some people call them block dogs. Basically a dog without pay. You don't know how they breed. Just call them a street dog.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we would call them in New York. But this is beyond that. This dude would get stray dogs. I'm talking about straight, not go to the pound and adopt them. You might be walking home from school or something, or in the morning, whatever, and see a stray dog that's running down the street or whatever, and looking for food, like running with a pack of other dogs, like tearing through trash. Stray dog,
Yeah.
but it was a pit bull. By looking at it, looked like a pit bull. This man would take them dogs, stray dogs, and match them and win. Now, anybody from Flatwoods, East New York, Brownsville, like y'all remember them dogs, Major, Struggle, Nightmare. The people ain't like that's from Brooklyn from back in the day. They know what I'm talking about. And I think a lot of that had to do with the bond. Now, do I think them? I wouldn't take that chance, and I wouldn't recommend taking that chance. Or I wouldn't like breed to that dog. But like, yo, my hat's off to that dude. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
he took a stray dog. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that had to do with him showing the dog love
Yep.
and made the dog understand, like, oh, like this is what you want me to do. Because like to me, that's what makes the pit bull such a great breed is the willing to please. Like once they know what you want them to do, like if you have that bond, you got the best,
Yep.
better than any other breed, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I agree with you on that, man. I agree with you on that. Now, this dog rock bottoms hammer, man. This dog look good. What this dog bred like?
That's Mike stuff. That's Gus to trying to remember what the bottom side. It's Jeep. It's a Jeep Red Boy dog, but I know the father, Little Gus, which is Indy Turbo, Indy Missy. Turbo is Tab's sister, and we just spoke about Missy, which
Yeah.
is Weirdo to Run. And I want to say, damn, I gotta look at the pit again. Not 100% remember the bottom side, but Hammer had a dog, a brother that he didn't look as good as Hammer, but he had the same father. And the bottom side was Rawhide, which is Abe to Happy. So he had a brother and a sister. Verbal was a one-time game loser. They bred Verbal to Misty, which Rawhide let him make brother and sister to each other to Hammer's father. And that dog beat a big name kennel in 18 minutes.
That.
Yeah, that man pulled that money out and said, "Here, man." He was pissed off. And it was one of them hard biting, Eli guys. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that bullshit that soft mouth shit that Mike breed. Because Mike believed heavy in gameness. He
Yeah.
felt like gameness is the most important thing. Like everything else,
That's how I feel.
it could follow, but gameness, you don't want to lose that. He was a very, very careful breeder. I'll never forget. He told me, as far as like when he looks at peds, he would go far back. I mean, even to the 10th generation, because his idea was that if you take a tub, this is his words, a tub of ice cream, and one little rat turd gets in that tub, the whole tub's contaminated.
Yeah.
So he was very careful. Like me myself, being eager to compete, I didn't study the pedigrees as tight as Mike did. Even though he was my mentor, like, and I don't take back what I said as far as how I feel. Like a lot of times, like I wouldn't pay attention as much as he would,
Yeah.
because at that time we was into rock and roll, and I feel, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I feel like the dog make the pedigree, not the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you look at it, and again, this is my opinion,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
the Jeep and Homer thing, like had it went the other way, you think we'd be talking about Jeep Red Boy, or we'd be talking about Homer Red Boy?
Yeah. You 100% right. We talking about Homer Red Boy.
You see what I'm saying? It ain't because Homer was off of Okie and Jeep was off of Bo is why we breeding, why everybody running, why everybody
Mm-hmm.
running Jeep. No, because Jeep prevailed as the winner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Bolio would have jumped the wall, or had Mayday lost one of his shows,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, what I'm saying, people would be so high on Mayday. You know what
Nope.
I mean? I think they're high on Mayday because of his accomplishments,
Yep.
not because of his pedigree. Now the pedigree is important, of course, especially if you want to breed. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like individuals, like if a dog, and this, in my opinion, doesn't even have to necessarily be for combat. Just be like any performance-based breed, protection work or hog hunt. Like I feel like the individual dogs should be able to perform the task that you want them to perform.
Yeah.
And if they can't or don't, they have no reason to be in the breeding program.
You right about that. You right about
That's
that.
just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
then because all you're doing, like if you do it anyway and you make excuses and all that, like that's more time. And
Yeah.
time is one thing that we can't get back. I'd rather lose money than time.
Hey, you
You can
100%
replace
correct
money,
about
you
that,
can't
bro.
replace money.
What you say?
You know what I'm saying? I said you can replace time. You can replace money, but you can't replace time.
Yep. Yep. You're right about
Yeah,
that.
you know.
Yeah. Now I see it's a Heavy's champion rawhide and Miller's champion rawhide, which is the rawhide that people be speaking on.
Well, the rawhide that I'm speaking of
Yeah.
is Mike Wilder's champion rawhide, which was Abe to Happy, a straight Jeep Red Boy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And here's a thing too about Abe. I'm sure I don't know if you remember or heard of George Long. He had Abe and Weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So at the time, someone had offered George a lot of money. That's $10,000 for Abe. Now that's a lot of money now, but back then, that's even more.
Yeah.
George turned it down to send the dog to Mike because he told Mike he would.
Mm.
That's what I mean as far as like somebody's, like these a lot of the old. Not saying there ain't people like that around now, but those guys, George Long, Mike Wilder, Ozzie Stevens, Lou Colby, uh, I feel like putting them up there. Maybe some people would disagree, but I feel like that. Dirty Steve, like these are people that their word meant something. You know what I mean? Like they were good. They were great dog men. But to me, if you ain't shit as a person or
Yeah.
does some fuck shit, whether it's fuck with a kid or what have you, to me, whatever accomplishments you had in the dogs don't mean shit if you a piece of shit of a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. Like to me, what made these guys so great was that, of course, nobody would even talk about them if they didn't have the accomplishments that they had. But nobody could ever say that they were done wrong. Anybody that did business with any one of those people, from Colby to Ozzy to George to Mike to Steve, like nobody could say like that I gave that guy money and I never got my dog, or he said he would do this and he didn't do that. Like if they said something, that's what it was. Word was bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different time.
Now, how you feel about breeding when it comes to your breeding program? You a inbreeder, a line breeder, cross, like do a lot of outs?
Um, I would like to see me and Mike had that prop in my opinion, if you stay too tight for too long, and this was the problem with the indie dogs. If you stay too tight for too long, again, this is just my opinion, that it resorts back to recessive traits. And it don't necessarily got to be a behavior bad trait. It could be physical, like with the indie dogs, they had weak back ends when you would go too tight for too long.
Yeah.
So, and then I feel it. I guess it depends on I like to. We did it both ways. I mean, you got some dogs that will produce better when bred within that line, and then you got some dogs that produce that's outcrossed, and then you got some dogs that can't produce worth a fuck, which I
Yeah,
can't
you right about
explain.
that. You right about that, boy.
Because there was a dog, Team Michigan Rocco, and this dog here was a fucking machine, man. He was I want to say it was Abe to a Colby bitch, right? That's the top side, and the bottom was some of that art stuff.
Mm.
And he was a 7-time winner, and I'm going light here, at least 15 off the chain. Man, that dog won off the chain in 30 minutes at 10 years old.
Damn.
He was a machine, but he didn't produce. I mean, we had one that was a real nice bitch, and somebody else had one that was real nice, bred to some Eli stuff. They worked out, but he just didn't produce. And
Yeah.
then sometimes like We say like even for Merc. Now I like the fuck out of Merc, not just because he was my dog, but he was a great dog. But I feel like he had like some of his offspring were better than him, and some of his grandkids are better than him.
Now you
Like
talking
Merc
about
had
you talking about champion Merc now?
a champion. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Now Adamant, aka Merc, he wasn't a champion.
No, no,
Okay,
shit. Nobody want to go into him. That motherfucker was so bad. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody. Well, I was gonna say, but he did have a name as far as in that area at that time. We'll say that.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
He was a real good. He was a very very impressive dog
What
in
what
every act.
what Merc made best puppies breeding with? What kind of lines he made best puppies breeding with?
Actually, man, Merc produced his ass off with everything I bred him to, man. To me, his best son was him a rascal bitch, the Charlie B stuff. It was a dog I called Clarence, was classy, was Skeet to Nell. So
Mm,
it was Rollo the Daisy and then Trapper the Cricket. It's a little bit of Jeep in there, but it's real heavy rascal coming through the Charlie B stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Clarence had a sad ending because he his career was cut short due to mismanagement. I had
You say
yeah,
mismanagement?
yeah, because I had traveled. It took me about an 8 hour drive to get to where I went to do them.
Yeah.
Got there, they was 2 pounds over. I did it anyway, and I believe it was a two-time winner. I'm not sure, but anyway, so it go 203, and at 203, I asked for a It's over, you know what I'm saying? Like Clarence was a finisher, but I asked for a courtesy. Clarence hit that dog so hard, he knocked the screws out the box. And I ain't talking about, I'm talking about like screws that you use with a drill.
Dang.
And that's at over 2 hours. And then the second time, it was a one timer that had won, like I think in an hour and 30. Clarence put him away in 40 minutes.
Damn.
And then I got offered a lot of money for him. And what happened was the guys that had him, and I guess their ego, they didn't want to let the people that I know condition them. They wanted to do it. Well, these two motherfuckers, the dog had 4 chain accidents within an 8 week keep.
Damn.
And they went ahead and did it anyway. And he wound up losing. I think went like an hour and 40, something like hour 40. I'm not sure exactly. Went close, something like that. But I'm not one to make excuses, but it's pretty. You can't really judge an animal if you have 4 chain accidents in 8 weeks.
Man, imagine a boxer going and getting ready for his show and they using 8 weeks. They got 8 weeks too, and they get in 4 street fights before then. You know they gonna
Yeah,
cancel the show. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Between one of the, it might not be the first one, but between four, you talking about 4 street fights in a matter of 8 weeks, and he got a professional fight coming up. Man, they
I, I
canceling that.
I agree, but you got people that will criticize and you know what I'm saying, like and say that's what I mean. Like a lot of times when a dog loses, there's a lot of factors to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to look at sometimes, it is just the dog wasn't shit, but also if you got a dog and I got a dog and you rather be out clubbing or you know what I'm saying, and you like feel like, well, I'm not gonna spend the extra money to buy the better dog food, or he don't need all these supplements
Mm-hmm.
versus me who, man, I can't talk right now. I'm focused. I don't care how
Yeah.
tired I am, it doesn't matter how much, if what I gotta go without. If I gotta eat, just bologna for the next 8 weeks, it don't matter. I'm gonna make sure I got everything for this dog.
Yeah.
Now, your dog versus my dog, maybe in a row, like with no conditions straight off the chain for both of them, maybe your dog would have won.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that's in better shape, he got a way better head start. He got the advantage.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you with that.
I tell you another story. Like there was a female that she was kind of scattered up though. She was like the blackjack type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
crossed with some macho buck, right?
Yep.
And bitch had a face like an English bulldog. And
Damn.
they anyway, the owner, they were rolling the fuck out of her. And they brought her to me, and I took a liking to her, and I started spending time with her, whatever. I really bonded with her. And she performed so good when the night that she won, like they were like, she ain't never did that. Like her tail going like a helicopter, me talking to her.
You done
And
built
they
that
like,
bond up with
damn,
her.
right, that bond,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like anything, the more you put in, the more you get out. It's like that with everything.
Yep. Yep.
You can't, but there are some exceptions to every rule that you do get some animals like that Rocco dog. It don't matter who shaped that dog. That dog was gonna win. He just one of those one in a million type. You know what I mean? Like he was in different people's hands.
Yeah.
Like when that dog was 9 years old, and the guy that owned him had told me take Rocco and go do him off the chain at 9 years old. And when I get there, they got Rocco probably 52, 53 on the chain. And them guys came with a dog, had to be about 70 to 75. And I told Rocco's owner, man, I don't think I'm going to do it. This dog looked like 10 to 15 pounds bigger than Rocco.
Yeah.
He said, good. The bigger, the better. And in the beginning, that dog, man, Rocco on his back, but calm. He never made a bad move, but that dog is just ragging Rocco out. And they all,
Mm-hmm.
say about 15 minutes into it, Rocco get a hold from the bottom in his chest. Oh man, that bigger dog, you could see his tail start dropping a little bit. Rocco get to his feet, dog's tail drop a little more. And Rocco get on now. Rocco get that bigger dog down, it's over. Dog tail tuck, he crying.
Damn.
Rocco is one of those. It happens, not
Mm-hmm.
many. I tell
Mm-hmm.
you what's another rare dog that dog that won Turbo, the one that won in Mexico or for the 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
He had a daughter that my partner had who was bred to you ever hear Champion Go? He was off of that Ply Boys Willie. Remember Willie? Deacon to the Turtle Buster stuff?
I seem like I want to say I heard of it, Willie Dog. If that's the
He
same
was
one.
Yes, it is. So there was a dog named Champion Go. Her mother was real heavy on that Ply Boys Willie. And we bred her to Turbo, which is Mike stuff, ND Jeep Red Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And only one puppy lived, and my partner he raised her by with a bottle. And man, this bitch was only 29 pounds, but this was
Damn.
one of the baddest bitches I ever seen.
Uh,
She won twice, and on a second show, I seen it. She flatlined one in 11 minutes,
Mm.
and she was only 29 pounds. That's rare that a dog that small
Yeah.
could pack that kind of punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, did she have any puppies?
Nope.
I was.
Well, I think she did have one. My bad. Man, like when you go through so many dogs, so many years, like,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing. I believe there was one off of her, but
I was just
being
wondering
that I
how
don't
big it
really,
was. I wonder how big her offspring
oh,
was.
uh, I don't remember, but she was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I tell you too, like my partner at the time, you know how I knew like he was special, like not like as a person. I mean, like I knew we would have a good partnership
Yeah.
because when only one puppy lived, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he raised it with a bottle. I'm talking about he put it in a shoebox, taking with to work, and every time taking little breaks, bottle feed, round the, how it is to bottle feed a
Mm-hmm.
puppy. And once he get her right, he said, "Man, there's only one pup that lived, but you want her?"
Mm.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, look at it like, I did all the work, and
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, man, go ahead, man. You live, you do that.
Did the pup ever make it?
Yeah, that's her. That's Melina. That's
Okay.
that bad bitch at 21 pounds. Yeah, that was
Okay.
a bad bitch, man. That was a boy, that was a bad bitch, man. That bitch was fucking devastating.
It,
And the thing, you usually don't see dogs that small with that kind of punch,
was it hard to find shows for back then for that size?
No, not really. Believe it or not, not really. Did you see a picture of a buckskin dog I sent you? That's a half brother to Merc.
Yeah.
I said it was a half. We did him and her in the same night. The same guy had both.
Mm.
He won in he won in 2 hours and she won in 40 minutes. The first show, he won in four. She Malene, the little 29 pound.
Yeah.
It took about 40 minutes. But maybe it was better competition, or maybe the second time she figured it out. She was a little slow to start, as far you know what I mean. Like she wasn't like wide wide open crazy like how a lot of like the heavy red boy stuff,
Yeah.
be screaming, and she wasn't one of those. But once she gets settled in, she was just like the way they said about Zevo.
Mm-hmm.
Melina was a
Mm-hmm.
real nice fucking dog, man. But it's kind of crazy because a lot of times the baddest ones don't produce bad ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, but you know what I'm saying? Like Merc, for
It
example,
happened like that a
Champion Merc.
lot of times, dog. It happened like that a lot of times. The best
Like
dogs
Champion
won't
Merc,
produce you shit.
his kids had more mouth than him, in my opinion.
Which dog
But
was that?
I mean, Champion Merc. I mean, he
Okay.
was a great dog, but what made him a great dog, he was like a boxer. He was super smart, and he would curve a dog out on the scratching. Like he
Mm.
would scratch so fucking hard, like if you blink, you miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
But as far as like mouth, I would say about average. But then again, everybody has a different some what I would call average. Maybe somebody would consider hard, or you know what I'm saying. Unless it's like a dog like Melina that doing shit like that, there is no opinion. There
Yeah.
ain't no question about it. That bitch got a 10 mouth.
Out of all the
There ain't
dogs
no
that
opinion.
out of all the dogs that you and Wilder was dealing with, um, which was your favorite one?
That would have to be Adamant.
Mm, okay.
But there was another dog named Hercules, a rascal dog.
Mm-hmm.
Mike collected like four forfeits on him.
Damn.
That was a fucking bulldog. He won. He beat a two-time winner in like 35 minutes, and then something had happened. It's real fucking stupid though. Like it went like 245. He lost like a half of his face,
Damn.
and what was pissing me off is like I guess the ref was betting with them because they had their dog, and when they say like face your dog, they be like, I'm getting frustrated because like damn man, how many times they trying to
Mm-hmm.
stand the dog up, whatever.
Yeah.
So when they tell me to release, I release them, but they fouled me out because the ref didn't say release, and they fouled me out because of that.
Damn.
So, but that Hercules was the next day that motherfucker with half his face gone, he you couldn't keep him in a crate. Yeah, that motherfucker hanging from tree limbs and shit. Like, yeah, that Hercules was a.
Damn.
But as far as like my favorite dog, as far as a male, I would say Ataman. I know for Mike, it would be Frankie. He had a dog named Frankie that was Indy to Nettie.
Now
Nettie was,
I was about to ask you about the nitty dog. You ever seen that one?
yeah, she was a great producer for Mike.
That was
Great
okay.
producer.
That's a female.
Yeah, it seemed like the Indy over the Abe Happy was the ticket.
Okay.
It seemed like that worked really well. It was the Jeep Red Boy. It seemed, and then like he liked the rascal coming through the Charlie B stuff.
Yeah. Now I see like that Jeep Red Boy stuff works so good, man. It's hard to even say that when you got like 15% rascal, 20 some percent rascal in there, or 20 some percent bolio in there. Sometimes it's hard to even say if that stuff is even making a difference as far as the quality of dogs you getting, unless you still see the same traits from them actual dogs in the dogs. You know, when I'm looking at, some of them dogs that Wilder got, and I look at the pedigrees, you know, some of them look like the rascal stuff, but it's so small in there. Some of the lines, 'cause I see he got a lot of rascal in different ones of them, but some of it is so small, and the dog Jeep, the Red Boy Jeep cross is so good that I wonder, do it carry some of these other lines sometime? When we may say, oh, even the Red Boy Jocko. I might say, oh, the Red Boy Jocko is a good cross, but it's the Red Boy Jeep cross that makes me think that, oh, the Red Boy Jocko is good when you cross it with the Jeep. Just anything you mix with that Red Boy Jeep together is gonna be a smash hit. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere or
Well,
another.
I I I I agree but disagree a little bit because I kind of feel like it also depends on what you do with it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you get a female and I get a female, and both of them are litter mates,
yeah,
right? And then 10 years down the road, like you created your line off of your female, I created my line off of my female.
yeah.
But now, if I'm breeding to stuff where, oh, I like the pedigree on that dog, and that's the only reason why I'm breeding to. And then when the pups are born, I don't give a fuck how they act. I like the pedigree.
Yeah.
Opposed to you will be like, nah. I mean, I do like the ped, but he gonna have to have more than just a ped. You know what I mean? Like in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to breed to him.
Yeah.
And you keep those standards, and then me and you meet up in 10 years, it's more likely that yours that you held to a higher standard
Mm-hmm.
are going to be better in every way. Consistency, uh, confirmation, everything will be better because you didn't look at just the pedigree. Like the pedigree is important. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not, but the pedigree alone, that's not enough.
No, no. I agree with you 100% on that. That's not enough.
And that's what I think ruined a lot of lines. Like where because like a dog become famous, like I'm not saying this, but just as an example, like Mountain Man's Homer,
Yeah.
like all that hype behind him, the demand is so high you can't keep up with the supply.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's hard to look and I'm not using him per se. This is an or any individual. This is an example. Like you want that money,
Yeah.
so you don't look at the quality because you want to keep up the supply for the demand, so you make them
Mm-hmm.
breedings, even though opposed to someone that, now I'm not gonna do that because it's not, I don't feel like it's quality.
Yeah.
And even like if both parents are quality, that don't guarantee the pups to be quality. That's why
Mm-hmm.
you gotta, before you do every breeding, make sure they quality. And I'm not just gonna go for like for box dogs. I go for like any kind of like for training for anything. Because
Yeah.
even with guard dogs, they could cur out. So
Hey.
not every dog, not every Malinois, Shepherd, Rottweiler, whatever can be. There's different levels of that. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So
Yep.
not every dog is gonna make it. That's just the harsh reality. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, when
And
you
if you
when you
ain't ready to,
when you was dealing with
but
protection dogs, what made you get into that?
I always liked dogs, and there was a guy. I had a good friend. He's still training dogs, and he's real good too. Like uh, there was a guy that had ran a guard dog kennel. Like he would actually like rent dogs out
Mm-hmm.
with like a building went under construction, whatever, and he would put the dogs on the site. And then I started work. I started really just cleaning out the kennel, and then I started working. I started putting on the sleeve and all that,
Yeah.
fucking with him with that. But I remember, man, like to me, I took a bite from a Rottweiler, and fucking Rottweilers could really fucking bite. He
Yeah.
fucking pancaked the fleas,
Yeah.
and my shit was black and blue. And to me, with a pit bull, especially a game like one with a good pedigree, don't matter as far if it's take your pick, Jeep, Red Boy, Eli, Bully, whatever, just as long as it's game bred.
Mhm.
And usually they don't want to bite a person. They're gonna their nature is to be bred to be aggressive with other animals.
Yep.
But if you could get them to understand like this is what you want to do, whatever, you train them to do that, boy oh boy, you got to me, they the best. There's nothing better. I had one that it was a daughter handicapped to Mayday, and then that was bred to a double 6 bits bitch.
Mm.
And this male, he grew up to be 70 pounds.
Damn.
And this motherfucker was devastating. If you grab your left arm and you hit him with the right, he'll let go of the left and grab your right. You go to kick him, he'll let go and grab your leg.
Damn.
But he was a great dog. I mean, great with kids. The awesome dog. But again, like naturally, I mean, like I wouldn't. That wouldn't be my first pick, a game bred dog to be a guard dog.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the right training, man. Because think about that intensity that they put on a hog or whatever.
Mhm.
A good game dog is when they focus. They putting everything they got into that.
Yep. Yep.
So imagine you doing that on a man. And
Yep.
and somebody can talk shit, but if you ain't never been bit, people say I'll do this to a dog, do that to a dog if it bite me. But there's a
Mhm.
difference between a dog that'll bite and a dog that's trained to bite. A dog that's trained to bite, unless you kill that motherfucker, like you gotta like as far as the ones that we train, unless you kill them, you ain't gonna just run them off no matter what you do.
No.
Because there was an American bulldog that was somebody actually had shot him twice,
Mm.
once through the foot, once through the shoulder. And he had that man, he was on like a big ass pile. It was a scrapyard, and he was on a big pile. The dog stayed there overnight till the people got there. And
Damn.
that man couldn't get down.
And he still couldn't get down.
Not until they took the dog away. The dog stayed there all fucking night.
Yeah.
That's but that's a lot of that too is like for training.
Yep. 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 Now, let me ask you this, because I ain't gonna hold you here all night. Um, 3 hour curves, man. What's your take on that? What's your take on the 3 hour curves?
Well, it kind of depends on. I have a philosophy of if you standing, you could go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we did one. It wasn't my dog, but I shaped him. And these boys that we went into had a man, their dog was in amazing shape.
Mm.
Never ran hot. 240, he stand in line. Now, he wasn't breathing hard. He's standing there. In my opinion, he occurred. Now, on the other hand, that same dog I told you about that made a handicap 6 bits that I trained,
Yeah.
he had a daughter that was shown, and she went 4 hours and 20 minutes.
Mm.
She lost. Do I think she was a curse? No. But
Did
her
you keep
body
her?
gave
Did you
out.
keep her?
It wasn't my call. I would have picked her up.
Okay.
She got her leg broke at an hour and a half,
Mm.
and she was in the corner screaming to go. And it wasn't my call. It wasn't my dog. It was just off of my dog.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to pick her up, but it
Okay.
wasn't my call.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then three, even the other side, the person was similar situation, but he said that they paid me to condition and handle. But if the other bitch, not the one off my dog, if he
Yeah.
said if it was mine, I'd pick her up. At 420, they in the middle, and the bitch is she started bleeding out of pussy, and then when she coughed blood, the guy get a handle, and she can't go. No, now that's not occur. That dog deserves to be saved, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as if you there's a lot of different reasons why a dog quit. Shit, Champion Merc, his third show, it went so long because he wouldn't come out of hold. He had an hour. It went an hour and 45, but it's over. But he dragging around the body, and the guy don't want to call it because he's saying anything could happen.
Yeah.
Merc might get bored. Merc might get bored. And even though he's on top, he winning, which I seen happen where the top could get bored and just all of a sudden like I don't really feel like doing this no more
Yeah.
and come out of hold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's different reasons why they quit.
Yep. And we
Is
we
it
we we, we
exhaustion?
never really talked about a dog getting bored, and that's 100% correct, man. A dog can be winning, and he doing his thing, and any dog can get bored. It's like we training them and all that stuff. They get bored over a period of time if it's the same old thing, and they just not interested in it anymore. Um,
Right. But a bulldog gonna be there. See what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
a dog like Merc, like Champion Merc, not Adamant, Champion Merc. And I ain't just saying this because he's my dog. Like anybody that know whatever, no, like he was a fucking ain't no quitting him. He a fucking bulldog. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and to me, that's part of gameness, but and then maybe it was the bond, because I ever since when he was a puppy, I would talk to him like he's a person. And I was like, man, with that name you got some big shoes to fill. You gonna be a champion.
yeah,
Like like I had a real strong bond with the dog.
yep,
Maybe that had something to do with it. Whatever the reason is, I've seen a lot of dogs do that though. They'd be ahead and just
mm-hmm,
be like, fuck it. Like I just don't want to be here for
yep,
whatever reason.
yep,
It could be, to me, some of them might feel the pain and like they never been bit like this before.
yep,
And then some of them it don't matter. Like that one with Clarence, that motherfucker wouldn't stop. And that dog was heavy China. That's another thing that's crazy. Show you never know. Like it kind of goes against what the pedigree say,
mm-hmm,
because it was heavy Chinaman, right?
yep,
And at an hour and a half, this motherfucker broken down. He fucking. I'm thinking, ain't no way this motherfucker coming. We good.
yeah,
So man, that motherfucker fall on his face. I'm holding Clarence because ain't no way that motherfucker falling on his face, got up and make a game fucking scratch, man. And that was heavy Chinaman, dog.
Hey, that's why I say, man, over the years since Eli and them was born, and maybe some of the dogs before Chinaman, um, a lot of dogs got missed, man. A lot of dogs that would have created lines. A lot of dogs that would have had their own, families like Red Boy and different things, and they would have been known to say like, when I ask brothers, which Eli dogs are known for gameness. This can be one of the Eli dogs. Just using him as that dog as an example. That could have been an Eli dog that possessed and bred and through offspring that had that same gameness to where they gonna stay down. They might not be the best wrestlers or whatever, but they gonna stay down for sure, and they gonna come and scratch for sure. We don't have we skipped like 30 some years. After the main dogs came out, Red Boy Jeep, this dog, Bolio, or that dog, we still building off of their traits, but it's another dog that's just as game as Red Boy was, or just as that throw game dogs just as Red Boy them did, but we just don't know where the dog's at. You know what I'm saying? Or either they
That's
they
true,
dead
too.
now, one or the
And
other.
I'll tell you another one too. We had a red boy dog that could bite and produce in mouth.
Hey, a lot of the brothers that I speak to say they don't know where these brothers get that no mouth from with their red boy dogs, because the red boy dogs in the beginning had crucial mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the one I'm speaking of was heavy britches.
Okay.
Heavy, 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 heavy britches.
All right.
Heavy. He was like 7 times britches.
Mm,
And he could bite and he produced dogs that could bite.
yeah. Yeah. Now, was
So,
he
so it's kind
throwing
of
off?
like
Was he a brindle dog?
Brindle, yep, just like Gritches.
And was he throwing off like a lot? Did he throw off a lot of brindle dogs off that stuff?
Yep. He threw, well, he was, somebody had else bred to him. He was only bred twice.
Okay.
Because one day I went out, I think he might have ate hay or something, went out there and his stomach blew up. I don't
Mm.
know if he ate something, he couldn't digest it, but see, he was only bred twice. But the two times he was bred, both litters were heavy, heavy mouth dog. Heavy mouth.
Mm.
Heavy,
Yeah.
heavy. One of his, he actually has uh grandkids that are doing pretty good, as but like the cross. But to say that there's no game Eli dogs and no red boy dogs that could bite, that just ain't what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's like kind of goes back to what you do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
don't breed just because you want the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever it is that you want, that you expect that dog to do, you should breed for those traits. Like if you want
Yeah.
a confirmation champion, don't breed to another dog just because you like the pedigree. Breed to that dog because it has those traits. Or if
Mm-hmm.
you want a hog hunt dog, don't breed to a dog that a hog ran off. But nah, like,
Yeah.
and there have been players that produce, but I wouldn't practice that. But it's like you remember that crazy Jack, that double weird Jack male.
Seems like I want to say I heard of that dog before.
He was a Kurt, but he produced. Matter of fact, somebody had a female double bred on Crazy Jack,
Mm-hmm.
and I was giving them shit about it because they had uh bred the Merc, and I was giving them shit about it, double bred and a Kurt, whatever. But fuck it, they the stuff he did it. Man, he got a champion and a two-time winner out of that.
Mm.
And those were the only ones that actually lived. The rest of them, I guess they hung themselves or something stupid, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
Damn.
I just I think it's kind of a lot of it is what what the individual do with it.
Yeah.
And but to me, like I said before, like with Mike especially, because without Mike, me and all or nothing would not have the success that we had. I
Yeah.
mean, he was not just a great dog man, but he was really like a great guy.
Yeah.
Like there's like so somebody from overseas had bought two puppies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed with Mike for 2 fucking years, bro.
Damn.
2 years, right? Now, I'm like, damn, Mike, last time I was here, them pups were small. He's laughing.
Oh, you talking
So,
about the dog stayed with him for 2 years?
two
Oh, I
years.
thought
The
you talking about the
guy,
people stayed with him for 2 years.
no, he bought the puppies, but he didn't get them. They
Yeah.
stayed there for 2 years. But hey, sorry, bro. Like, honest, whatever. 2 years, the dogs is mine. Yo,
Yeah.
2 years? We ain't talking about 2 months.
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah.
So late when they get grown, it's two females now, right? The
Yeah.
guy tell Mike, so I want to breed this one to this one, this one to this one. And Mike was like, all right, cool. But I want half the litter.
Yeah.
The guy told Mike, now hold on, you asking for too much. So Mike say, all right, fuck it. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do the breedings and I'm gonna send them on and me and you are done. And I was tight. Cause like I said, me and Mike were friends. He was like a father to me.
Mm.
And like I ain't going for nobody taking advantage. Like, damn, Mike, I understand you trying to do the right thing, but
Yeah.
fuck that, yo. Like
I ain't
there's a
gonna lie. I
difference.
probably wouldn't send them back like that.
But see, Mike would always made sure that nobody could ever say that
Yeah.
he didn't do his part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I understand that's extreme. I wouldn't do it, and I was upset with him for doing it because there's a difference between doing the right thing and being taken advantage of. But it just shows, like when Mike gives his word, there ain't no breaking it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a doomed dog. Like you ain't gonna break them. Like you could break their legs. You could do whatever, but you can't
Mm-hmm.
kill their spirit. A real game dog, they gonna come no matter what. A real bulldog, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what you do to them. Well, that was Mike on every level, but especially like with his word. Like when he give his word, there's no question. And anybody that's ever dealt with him, there's nobody that could honestly say Mike did me wrong.
Yeah.
Mike stole from me, or Mike
Mm-hmm.
did this. Nobody could ever say that about him.
Yeah.
And like I said, to me, that speaks so much volume. You know what I mean? And he would help out anybody, and he didn't give a fuck about whether you black, white, Muslim, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, again, like to his character, that speaks major volume to be
Yeah.
a white guy that grew up, born, raised in the South, and does not look at that at all. Like that speaks volume to his
Yeah.
character. In
Yeah.
so many ways, Mike is just a great guy. And I miss him a lot, man. I mean, I lost a great friend, and the dog game lost, a great dog, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
A legend.
Yes, sir, man. Now, on leaving out on this note right here, what's a piece of advice you give anybody know that starting their kennel and want to make their kennel last?
Don't don't get out while you can. Nah, for real. I would say number one, as far as anything illegal, don't. On all seriousness, anything illegal with the dog, I would
Yeah.
strongly suggest against it because the risk is not worth the reward. There's a lot of things that you could do with your dog that's legal, the way they'll leave you alone. Now, I understand a lot of people would say, "Oh, but you don't know if the dog is game." I understand that, and it sucks, but if you have no choice but to adapt with the times or wind up behind bars
Yep.
because it ain't a matter of if, it's when.
Yep. Yep.
It just I don't want it to be that way, but it is that way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So my advice would be take care of your dog, enjoy your dog. If it's your first time getting a dog, I would say do your research. Try to not just the internet, maybe you could kind of call other people, you know what I mean, or
Mm-hmm.
talk, and see like if what you heard about that person, or you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
be patient. Patience, man, is that ain't never been one of my strong points. My partner, when I, when we was active, he was a lot more patient than I was, and I think that's what made us have such a strong kennel. Where I lacked, he had strong points.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he,
Yes,
you
sir,
know,
man. In the words of Mr. Jerome, and the brother Cisco, um, be patient, man. Be patient. You know what I'm saying? Do the right things with these dogs. I appreciate all the brothers and sisters that rock with us today. Y'all hit that like button up. You know what I'm saying? Big salute and shout out to the brothers and sisters down in the chat. Just doing it how we always doing it, man. Bringing this dog talk. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay legal out there. Remember
hey,
where you got it from first.
not to cut you,
Oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
could
Go
I
ahead.
just give just say about two people before we break out?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
One, I want to this for you too, like for you and your listeners. My man, Bar, check out Street Talk with Bar. He got them stories from the 80s, and
Yeah.
he got this animation going. He got something going with about 50 Cent, not the rapper 50 Cent, but
Yeah.
the original 50 Cent.
Yeah.
He got a channel called Street Talk with Bar,
Mhm.
and you and your listeners, man, if anybody like that, the history on that street shit from the 80s, whatever,
Yeah.
y'all check that out, man. It's cool. And I want to give a shout out to Yella One, because he put us in touch. He kind of made this happen.
Yes, sir.
And
Big salute to Yellow One, man.
and a special thanks to you, man. I enjoyed this conversation, man. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Appreciate your time.
hey, I appreciate you, brother. And like I enjoyed it myself. You know what I'm saying? You welcome anytime, man. Um, and like I said, Everybody, y'all have a safe day out there, legal. Stay legal with these dogs. You can enjoy them. You know what I'm saying? And just, take some of the knowledge the brother gave throughout the video and add it to your program. Whatever you feel like can benefit your program. You know what I'm saying? So y'all stay safe, man, and we out.